Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm joined with Ethan. Ethan has a Crohn's disease, and it's gonna be really interesting to talk about with Ethan and for him to share his story. So thanks, Ethan, for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to talk to you about your Crohn's and that. So would
hmm
you
hmm
kind of start by just introducing yourself a little bit?
All right. My name is Ethan. The internet mainly knows me as Pooks. I have an online personality. As you can see, I'm joining you from a VR headset today. So that's what you're seeing with all this stuff around me. And I've had Crohn's disease since 2013. So I know a thing or two about that as well. So I'm excited to delve into it and talk about my experience and bounce some stuff off of you and
Yeah,
just have a good time.
yeah. So So you was diagnosed in 2013, Ethan. Did you know anything about Crohn's beforehand?
Prior, no, it ran in my family on my father's side, so I was aware of it. I heard the term thrown around a bit along with celiac disease, but I really have never done any research or didn't know anything about it. So
Okay.
kind of was thrown into everything in 2013 when everything started going wrong and doctors and specialists and the whole process that you have to go through before a diagnosis is found. So that's
Yeah,
how that all started.
it's quite annoying when you don't know what's happening at first, isn't it? Because it's kind of a mystery, isn't it?
hmm
Yeah. So how old was you in 2013, Ethan? Like for the when you
So
got the
I was 13 then when I was diagnosed.
okay.
So still fairly young, going through middle school, entering high school. So rough there, but yeah, well, it is what it is at the time.
Yeah, you can't help it. We can't choose when we do
hmm
get diagnosed, can we?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So do you remember, kind of like the symptoms of what kind of symptoms that you was experiencing at that particular time?
Yeah, so when things started, it started out as what I thought and what my family thought as a stomach virus, stomach bug, GI issues, everything that comes with normal stomach bug. But that unfortunately then got worse and lasted much longer than a normal stomach bug, which at the time then forced me to go to my pediatrician. And they were like, okay, we'll blood test and run you through a CAT scan, see what's up. And pediatrician was like, it's nothing we can handle. So we're going to recommend you hop on over to a GI specialist and hopped on over there. It took a while to get an appointment there, but once I eventually got an appointment there, they were like, yep, something's wrong down there. It's probably Crohn's, colitis, one or the other. And went through all of those again, blood test, CAT scan, MRI, endoscopy, colonoscopy, all that fun stuff.
Mm,
And then turned out to be Crohn's. Yep.
yeah. When you actually got that, they told you because sometimes it takes a while to get a diagnosis, doesn't it? Like, was you kind of in a way relieved that you actually found out what was wrong in that?
Yeah, because there was a period of time there where we're kind of like in limbo without knowing anything, what's going on, what's wrong. So once a diagnosis was finally nailed down and medication could be started, it was quite a relief that things had finally slowed down then and were looking like they were going to get better.
Yeah, yeah, and I always think it's kind of probably the toughest part of having Crohn's is the diagnosis stage, and it can be really painful as well. And then as time goes on, you like we're sitting here now, probably quite a lot of years from your diagnosis, knowing a lot more, so gaining that knowledge.
hmm hmm
Yeah. Um. So when like do you like of course, when you was diagnosed, was it hard to speak about it to maybe your friends and other people? Do you think?
So thankfully, I'm quite an open person regarding personal things I maybe shouldn't be too open about. So particularly in my situation, it wasn't too difficult to tell friends, family members. I was just like, hey, I got this, and now I got to take medication, and it might suck, but it is what it is. So there's nothing I could do about it. So I didn't particularly feel I needed to hide it from anyone. And since at the time when I was first diagnosed, things weren't as bad as they were later on in my life. It wasn't too difficult to talk about because at the time I took some medication, it was working, I felt better. So at the time it was fairly mild once a diagnosis was nailed down and medication was started.
Yeah, yeah. And like, how would you say like now you're doing with your Crohn's?
So right now in the moment I'm doing quite well, but I did just get out of the hospital a month ago from a very major abdominal surgery, bowel resection, and a replacement of my ostomy that I got in 2015.
Okay. Yeah, because I think we spoke beforehand, and then I think you was just coming out of hospital, I believe, or like
Hmm.
I think so anyway. Um, from that, um, like what is it permanent? Your stoma?
So my stoma is technically reversible, but GI and other specialists don't feel that it would be worth reversing until, for lack of better terms, a cure is found due to the severity of my disease. So for the most part, I'll probably have my stoma for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And since you've had your stoma, has it helped? Would you say with your Crohn's?
It has when it's functioning properly. It definitely has, yes. Unfortunately, in the past year and a half, there has been quite a lot of issues with it. But hopefully now, surgery done, medication back on, things are smooth sailing at the moment. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, is there so you've got a stoma, is there like speaking of medication, do you take any other medication on top of that?
So I'm on several pills, supplements just to help things along like normal, and then I take a biologic medication once a week, Humira injections. I'm sure you're familiar with the
Yeah,
different biologics. So I take that. So far it looks like it's helping. So
yeah,
again, all I can do is hope.
yeah. That's all we can do. We can only hope that
Hmm.
things go our way.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, actually, speaking of Humira, Ethan, I take Humira too, and actually have my injection today
I
as
do
we're
mine on
recording this.
Tuesdays. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
So do you do yours weekly, every 4 weeks?
I
What's your dosing length?
I do them every 2 weeks. Um,
Okay.
I think they used to be on a Friday, but I changed them to a Thursday. Like a Thursday kind of midday. Um, so yeah, I'll have it like every 2 weeks. So I think that's. What about you? How often do you have
So
yours?
I'm every week, every Tuesday, I have to take it. They tried the 4 weeks, bumped me down to three, then to two, still wasn't helping. So I'm on once a week now. So the insurance company doesn't like that, but it's helping. So
Yeah, and like where do you inject it? Because I know you can have it in your thigh or I think your tummy. So where do you do yours?
yeah, I do it in my thigh due to all the complications right now in my abdomen region. So the thigh works best for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the same. I did try, but because I think at the start, you go to the hospital and they do it for you, and they did it at my tummy, and I didn't really like the feel of it. um, and like you say, I think quite a lot goes on around that kind of area. Would the safest
Yeah.
option to do in your thigh.
Hmm. Yeah, that works for me. I've a couple other people I know who take Humira for various reasons. They prefer their thigh as well.
Yeah, yeah, and it's much easier, and like you just like what I do is I swap. Say today I've done the right leg, 2 weeks time I do the left leg because I'd like to switch over.
Yeah, I alternate legs. Yep.
Yeah. Um, but I am quite of a baby though when it comes to it though.
Yeah, I just gotta stick it in and get it over with.
Yeah, yeah. There has been a couple of like I say bloopers, so funny moments when you have the injections. It might go wrong one time. You'd be really angry at the moment, but looking back on it, you just laugh at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but but yeah, like for me, I take that every 2 weeks, but it wasn't my first, but by logic, I used to go for infusions. For that was about for a year. That didn't work out. on the 9th infusion. I had a reaction to like
Oh,
the
yikes.
anti to the drug, and it was pretty bad.
Oof.
It was pretty bad reaction. And it didn't go too well. And lucky enough, I had a meeting with my consultant at the hospital the following day. So that was okay. But at the minute, I take Humira, I take azathioprine, vitamin D, B12 to help with fatigue. Because I get quite a lot of fatigue with my Crohn's.
Hmm.
Um, do
So,
you suffer with fatigue as well, Ethan?
from time to time, I'm lucky that it doesn't bog me down too often. That's not particularly something I get. I get joint aches quite frequently. So that's something that I suffer with. I have arthritic-like symptoms that comes with my Crohn's.
Okay. Yeah, I always think it can be something to do with Crohn's, because it is, like, I'm the same. I've always had problems before even when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2017, October 2017. So I would have just turned 16, which I liked. um, and the only reason was because you don't want to get all this pain and when it's your birthday, do you?
Hmm.
Because my birthday's in September, and
Mm.
I I got diagnosed in October. I would say I got diagnosed pretty quickly. Not as long as some people. Some people
Hmm.
take years, don't they? Um, to get diagnosis and stuff. And
Yeah.
but but yeah, yeah, even before, like for example, you doing sport. If I like try my really hardest, and sometimes you feel like I don't want to do that because I know I'm going to suffer afterwards. um, like football, for example, football or soccer, I'll play that, and I'll be like, they'll feel like really achy, and you're like you can't move afterwards
Hmm.
in the evening or
Yep.
something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's Crohn's is like I think like how would you say like being at like I suppose being on Humira makes you feel like being at risk of anyway with Crohn's puts you at risk, but being on like drugs that like it's really dampens like our immune system.
Yeah, so I that's always in the back of my mind. I always need to I keep my distance and avoid large crowds when I can because with biologics it does damper your immune system. So I take precautions now, especially with the global pandemic. I make sure to get vaccines and boosters and everything that the CDC recommends. I take precautions, wear masks now that seems to be more the norm out in public. So again, I just do my best. It's impossible to avoid all human contact, so I keep my distance when I can and wear my mask and
Yeah, yeah,
hope for
it
the
is
best.
hard. Yeah, well, we've got like we said, we've got a high family. um,
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, but yeah, with the vaccines, like how many like jabs of that have you had?
So I had my original doses and then one booster, and I'm scheduled sometime the next month or so to get a second booster of that.
Okay, yeah. Um, like, have you had any reactions at all? Like, having any of your doses yet?
So the day or two after the initial two doses I had, I felt quite awful. Just kind of laid around and slept because I felt wiped out and had no energy. But that was really the only reactions I had to it. So it's similar to the reactions other people are having. Mine just lasted longer due to the fact that I was on the other medication and had Crohn's.
Yeah. Okay. Um, that that makes that makes sense. I can't remember how many. I've actually lost count how many I've had. It comes to the point where you kind of feel like having all these jabs. It kind of makes you feel, is it helping us? Because I suppose we don't know awfully a lot about them, really.
Hmm.
Um, they kind of just sprung on us, didn't they? Like really.
Yeah, they did. So again, I know I keep saying this, but I hope they'll help. So
Yeah.
that's all I can do is hope and trust the scientists working on it that they know what they're doing.
Yeah. We hope so. Yeah, we gotta hope so.
Mm-hmm.
But even speak about like reaction, I did have a reaction after my first one. Um, and it was weird, because I like the game too. Um, um, I have on VR, but not as much like as probably you. um, but like one evening, I had my jab about 5 o'clock. I had it at 5 o'clock, and I felt okay. It's just like a normal jab because I'm used to it. Like having Crohn's, you're used to having blood tests, aren't we?
Oh
Quite,
yes.
quite frequently. And as a recording this, I did have a blood test yesterday. First one in a while. I had like 5 bottles. Um, and
Wow.
like when we were younger, like we didn't like. I suppose quite a lot of people when you're young, you don't like that kind of things, like injections or anything.
Mhm.
But now I'm used to it, and with Crohn's, you have it quite often blood tests. I will just look at them doing it. I don't know about you if you're the same, but like the tense part is when they put it in. As long as they put it in and they
Mhm.
got it right, I'm okay. I'll just look at it like what they're doing, and I suppose I just find it interesting.
Mhm. No, it is. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. But on to that like the reaction. Like I had that at 5 o'clock and at night because that picked up. I do like to game quite late sometimes. I was playing. I can't remember what game I was playing. It might have been Tom Clancy game. Um, and I experienced this really coldness, and I didn't think of anything at first. I thought it was just cold, and then I felt tired, and then I thought, well, so something's wrong here. And then I went to sleep and I was freezing. Like I was
Mm.
so cold. Um, and I put all the blanks over me, and then I was hot in the morning, and then I thought, what's going on? So I was cold to hot, and then I had a temperature. So that was symptoms of the vaccine. But that's the only thing I've
Mhm.
had. I haven't and nothing since then, which is good.
Yeah, that's good. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So Ethan, like with your because you said you're quite open about your Crohn's and stuff. Um, do you like on your channel like people know you as Pooks? Do you
Mhm. Yeah.
like do you speak quite openly on there like about your Crohn's too?
Yeah, so it's not something I talk directly about, and it's not the focus of any of my online content, but definitely on my YouTube channel and other places I post videos, I talk about it. I spoke about the surgery I received and the absence. I was gone for about 2 months on all of my social platforms. So I spoke about the abdominal surgery, and I've done fundraisers for Crohn's disease on my channels before. So definitely the people who follow me are aware of it. I bring it up, I talk about it when it's pertinent to what's going on with me and my life and other stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's good you do it because you do it in a cool way, like with like on a VR headset. Um, it's not every day you'll get someone to do that.
Yeah,
um, So it's a different way to do it, and I think it's really cool
yeah.
that you do that, and it's good to know that you're. I suppose to people that to watch you on your channels and that know that you're back.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm. Yep.
yeah, and like, are you what are you looking for? Because you said you was away for 2 months due to like Crohn's and had like surgery. Was that one of the things you was looking forward to, like coming back and like announcing that you were going to come back?
Yeah, so, so I got the word that I was coming home and that my recovery was finally coming to an end, so I was excited to start planning to get back into making content. I know I also do some work for the game that I'm currently recording in, so I was excited to get back in there and just let people know that I'm back to doing my regularly scheduled stuff and getting back into the groove and just getting back to doing the normal stuff I do in my life. So I was quite excited all about that. And there's tons of people who support me over on my different social platforms. So I'm so grateful for them and to have the platform to be able to speak about stuff and have that support. That's just, I love all of them. They're great.
Yeah. And
hmm
like, when did you start doing this? Like, kind of the VR stuff and like your creation of maybe your channels. Like, when did you
So,
deal with that?
I believe about 2.5 years ago now, I started getting into the more content side of doing virtual reality and YouTube videos and TikToks and Instagram and all that other fun internet stuff. So, 2.5 years ago started, and then it's just kind of spiraled into what it is now, and doing all kinds of stuff on all different places on the internet. But yep.
Yeah, and um, w- it like because do you think because like VR is something you're really interested in, and that kind of made you that like a choice, like I should maybe do this maybe as more often, like to show people what videos I'm doing.
Yeah, so with especially the medium of virtual reality, and along with my Crohn's disease, since I don't have tons of energy and I'm not real active, I can't go out and make videos. It's easy. I can stay really in one area and using the power of the virtual spaces, film all kinds of different types of content without needing to expend a lot of energy and take my actual camera to different places. So it's a good way to mix different styles of I like video creation and filming and videography, but then combined with being in the hospital a lot and not being too mobile at times, it works well, the content creation with the virtual space.
Okay, yeah, like like I guess when I've done VR in the past, I'm petrified. Like you got those like I know the games. I suppose like the platform you use on the moment is not kind of scary, is it? It's kind of you
No,
just
yeah.
make out as you will. Um,
hmm
but I I've only been on it a few times, and um, it's hard. I suppose you have to have a good space if you're moving around a lot. That is. Um,
Yeah. hmm
um, I think it's easier if you are sitting down though. Um, wouldn't it be? Because it's almost like you don't have to move. Oh, look, there's someone over there. There's someone over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you, Ethan? Did you limit yourself? How often do you use a VR set at all?
Uh, no, I probably should. I'm on it probably more than is recommended, but
Yeah.
that's a problem for future Ethan to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. Future Ethan. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it made me dizzy. I suppose it makes you dizzy if you move around more. Um, like it. I suppose you don't have to if you're moving the controls, do you? Like on the actual game or something.
Mhm.
But like because I was playing a scary game, and I had to. What I was doing, I had the headset on my eyes, and I had to pick out. So I was in reality, but not in reality at the same time.
Mhm. Mhm.
um,
Yep.
but it's good fun. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
I suppose it's your comfort thing. Like
Mhm.
if your Crohn's is not great or you're feeling a bit down about it or something, like you can just go on there and like talk like you say, people that support you be there and like people you make your podcast with and stuff.
Yeah. It's a good way to escape some of the unfortunate things going on in reality. So just you
Yeah.
can pop the headset on and you can be somewhere completely different. Like right now, I'm in a cold basement, but I look like I'm in a very nice lounge on a big red couch.
Oh. So to you, you're not there, you're somewhere else.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um but do you think the future of virtual reality is quite interesting though, Ethan? Because like it'd be nice maybe if you was actually transferred to where you are, like where you like in that basement, for example, like it feels like you're there. Like I'm here speaking to you, or like you're really probably somewhere in your house. Um,
Mhm.
and maybe the future of virtual reality could be where you actually transport it there, and as a not like not staying there forever, but just there for a game or something
Mhm.
maybe.
Mhm. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I did actually. I watched a film like that a few years ago. Um, I think it was called Ready Player One or
Mhm.
something like
Mhm.
that. Like they was
Yeah.
actually transferred into the game, and it was pretty cool. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to be that character.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but we're getting there slowly.
No, no. The more
Mm-hmm.
people use
Mm-hmm.
VR, we might get there faster, maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Um, but like, have you like met many others with Crohn's, Ethan?
So not particularly. There's, like I said, a few people, cousins and aunts and uncles in my family that have it, but in terms of friends and people I've met, not too many that I know real well. I hear like if I mention I have Crohn's disease at an event or something, somebody will say, "Oh, I know somebody who has Crohn's disease," but I personally haven't met too many people. But it does seem like within my network of people I know, there are people who know other people with Crohn's disease. So it seems like it's not common, but there's definitely it's definitely a disease that is showing up more.
Yeah, yeah. I would have thought since like your diagnosis, people know about it more now. And you know about it more now as well.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, because like everyone does it in their different ways. Like the same like you probably think to yourself they know what it is, like they heard of it, but they probably don't know it in depth. They just know because their
Hmm.
friends have said,
Yeah.
I've got Crohn's."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because maybe more like in COVID times that you may say that you have Crohn's more because of being at risk, um, and certain things maybe.
Hmm. And just since Crohn's disease affects each person differently, it's not the same for every single person. What one person experiences might be completely different than what another person experiences with Crohn's disease.
Yeah, that's completely it. And um, like there's things that people don't understand, but people may feel like it's a toilet condition that you get quite a lot, don't you? Um, or like it's just a gut in your gut. But like for example, everyone has a different type of Crohn's, don't they? Like they're not going to have the same type.
Hmm.
Um, it's all very different and can be hard to explain as well to someone who doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because like some people can have both. They can have Crohn's and colitis, can't they? Um,
Hmm.
like in ways, and like it can affect probably to your eyes, to your passage, and it is it's things that you wouldn't talk to everyone. Like you wouldn't just say, um, I've I'm in a flare, and not even that kind of stage. People don't know um, what flare is, and in our minds, you think it's probably quite simple because we know what it is. But going back to probably 2013 for you, 2017 for me, we had no clue either.
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
so we're kind of in the eyes of someone that we know what they we know what why they ask these questions in a way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think I know like there's lots of bad things about Crohn's, but do you think there's good things about it as well, Ethan?
So I will say the one silver lining is what I call it. So my girlfriend and I, we love to go to Disney World, and I don't know if you've ever been to a Disney park, but down in Disney World, they have a wonderful disability accommodations program. And having Crohn's disease, I'm able to take advantage of that disability program. So I'm able to skip all of the lines for all of the rides on the attractions, and I call that the one of the silver linings of if I'm if I'm forced to suffer from Crohn's disease, I might as well get some perks out of it while I'm down in Disney World.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't
Hmm.
been to Disney World, but I have been to other like attractions or parks where I've had the
Yeah.
same experience where um
Hmm.
like for example for my Crohn's I have a can't wait card, um
Hmm.
and this will be for like toilet use. You get allowed to use the disabled toilet. Of course you get your people stare at you that think why are you here? Well, why have you skipped the queue? Um,
Yep.
but
Hmm.
and then like knowing like I had this experience where lots of people were in McDonald's. I was going to a concert before COVID times, and I knew it was gonna be packed. Like I'm not gonna get in the toilet at the actual event and that. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought I'll go to McDonald's. It's only just around the corner from it. And then the queue's out the door. It was and people there's this in the disabled toilet as well. And I skip to go into the disabled toilet, and people look at me like, why am I skipping the queue? And then what I would say is that I don't really have to say anything, unless maybe a person at work they came to ask me. But I bet you lots of people in that queue weren't disabled as well. So like
Mm-hmm.
people just use it anyway, don't they? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like it's good that we use those kind of things to our advantage. Um, like at theme parks as well. So because it's a pity, like just standing in a queue all day is going on that one ride that you want to go to the whole time. Where you like at Disney, they could go onto this one ride really fast and then go on another one.
Yeah, so the whole reason that the standing in line is a problem at theme parks is since I have the ostomy, if I'm waiting in a line, my ostomy could fill up at any time, and then with the restraints and the harnesses on the ride, that can cause the biohazard issues if the ostomy appliance were to break or fall apart because of the attraction appliance that goes over your head or buckles around your stomach. So that causes issues, and I had some problems back before I knew that you could get passes to skip the line, and I had some issues where things would explode. I won't go into detail, but caused some issues. So it's nice that there are programs that you can take advantage of and that do help and limit those types of situations from occurring.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. At least like if you even went on the one ride that you wanted to go on, that you could go on that and then um like and it's good though if people have these kind of things as well
Hmm.
that support you with like stoma and Crohn's.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Like when you got your stoma, Ethan, how what was your like feeling? Was that kind of would you say that was a last resort, really, or was that just something that
Yes,
you needed to do?
so around 2015, by the middle of 2015, I had been on every major biologic medication to treat Crohn's disease. So that's Remicade, Humira, Entyvio, and then one experimental medication. The name escapes me at the moment. So I'd been on all of them, and I had built up antibodies to them, and they all stopped functioning after several months. So my GI at the time was like, "There's really no other option at the moment other than to re-divert your intestines into the ostomy to hopefully cut down on some of the inflammation." So, of course, I didn't want to get the stoma placed, but at the time it was really the only thing going forward that I could do. So I'm glad that I did it because it definitely helped for quite a while after I got it. So it was definitely necessary. But no, being 15 at the time, not quite sure what's going to happen. It was my first major surgery I had had. So I'd had some minor bowel surgeries, but this one was considered quite major. So yeah, it was scary and going into the unknown, didn't know how to handle it, what it would mean, what I'd have to do to take care of it, but I just followed all the instructions and did what I could and Googled a bunch of stuff to find out what I needed to do, and just like anything, you learn what to do and how to take care of it, and just keep going forward.
Yeah, yeah. I think that like whenever you get diagnosed or have or something you're not sure about, you'll go on Google when you um have a look. I know that was did that with Crohn's. It's probably a bad mistake to do that with Crohn's when you don't know
Mhm.
about it, because you
Yeah.
made all these assumptions. No, you know, look, I'm gonna have
Mhm.
surgery and a stone, which is quite possible for people to have. But like we said with Crohn's, everyone's different. Like
Mhm.
I've never had surgery while having Crohn's. Um, but there has been like like I kind of suffer with like having fistulas and that. So and the blood in my stool quite a lot too. So
Mm.
but there's having them kind of. maybe leads you to where I am. Is one day I do have quite a lot of problems down that kind of area. Is that going to be a possibility to have a stoma one day? Who knows? Because I haven't been on, I would say, a lot of biologic medication. The only other one would have been infliximab. Was on for a year, and I was actually advised to go on Humira first, and
Mm.
I didn't want to because I didn't want to do injections at home first. I wanted to. It was a good choice I made
Okay.
actually. It was a really good choice, because the COVID wasn't happening then, and there's shortly after I was on Humira, it did, and I much prefer be at home than be at hospital.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even now it's fearful as well because if you have an emergency with Crohn's and you can't wait, you have to go like probably to the ER in America, A&E
Mm-hmm.
over here, and I spoke to different people with Crohn's, Ethan, and we kind of agree that it's not an well, it is an emergency, but not an emergency. Like those kind of emergency are accidents, aren't they, or stuff that you don't expect. But in our situations, it should be another kind of platform or something, maybe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with my issues I've been dealing with for the past year, I was in the hospital every 2 weeks basically for a couple of months, and I'd have to go through the emergency room every time here over in America. And yeah, you go in, and there's a bunch of triage patients and people that are actually having uh, real emergencies, for lack of a better term. But I'm just there with abdominal pain, and I'm like, yeah, I need to see a doctor and be admitted and have all these tests, but the only way to do it is go through the emergency room. So it would be nice if there was another way to get into the hospital without having to go through the whole emergency room, all of that triage process.
Yeah, because they'll look at you like, "Where's your injuries?" Like they will look to you like facially, and they won't see anything wrong. Like you haven't got a broken leg or um, you haven't been run over or something. So
Mm-hmm.
it is quite annoying. And when I went in, because I um I don't think I was diagnosed at this point. Um, and I had really bad, I had like pain, and it was almost like you're on fire, um, like that kind of pain, like you're on
Mm-hmm.
fire and acidy. Um, and I had to wait the whole night, near enough. Which I like. It's that pain that feels like you're gonna die in a way. I know like you don't want to use those words, but it does like that kind of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think something would even like with like people, I don't like going close to people anyway. Before COVID, so I didn't like that. So I wanted to be put in a different room and stuff away from anyone. And I'll still do that now. It's just I love when social like people keep their meters apart was in place. um, because it was good, not just for COVID, just for anyone really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I think that kind of things does need to be improved. Nathan.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, but like, do you? Is it kind of a case just getting used to now, like the hospital? Like, we're not going to run away from it. We have to go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've just gotta follow all the procedures and do what they tell us to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, like it's like with like with your Crohn's. Is there any other symptoms that you have?
Yeah, so I get the joint aches, my elbows and knees hurt a lot. From time to time, if I'm in a bad flare, I get mouth sores under my tongue and on my cheeks. In my mouth, they make eating quite difficult. And then from time to time, I get pressure behind my eyes, so I sometimes have to use prescription eye drops for that. But it's all because of the Crohn's disease. So when I first got it, I was unaware of how much would be affected. I never thought ever that my eyes would be affected by Crohn's disease, but lo and behold, they are.
Yeah, it's crazy what can be affected, isn't it? Like, yeah,
Mhm,
things that you wouldn't have thought. Um, like like I have thinner hair that I used to have quite thick hair, and I don't, and like you kind of want to stop a certain medication, but you don't want to get in the flare at the same time. Um,
mhm,
and yeah, it's pretty annoying. um,
mhm.
you would rather be on none, but if it helps you and if you're doing well at the moment, what's the point of risking that?
Yeah, like, in one instance, I was on a dose of steroids, prednisone, for a year and a half, and they recommend that you don't be on steroids for longer than a month. So that I was on for a year and a half, so I developed quite a low bone density, so I need to now be careful. I can quite easily break a bone due to that
Oh,
unfortunate course of long steroids. So, for I it has a technical name, but for just the people out there, I basically have osteoporosis because of the long dose of steroids I was on and my current bone density. So that's just another thing now I need to watch out for. If I slip and fall, I can sprain and break an ankle much easier than the normal person. So just
yeah.
other things I have to look out for.
That's crazy that you was on it like a year and a half though, like on steroids. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
that was after I had gotten my stoma. I was put on another biologic, an infusion, and it just wasn't working. And at the time, there was no other medications I could try, so there was just nothing I could do. And the only thing to keep the symptoms away was to be on steroids. And yeah, the for all the pharmacists recommend don't be on it for longer than a month. Well, I was on it a bit longer than a month, a year and a half. So, but there was nothing else I could do at the time.
yeah. So yeah, so you just got to be careful, not to, I suppose, like not to break a bone, I suppose. um,
Yeah,
there's only advice I can give you. Um,
yeah.
but it is unfortunate though, like for that. But yeah, like I think you're the first person I know that has been on steroids that much, a long period of time. But
And because I was on so long now, no other doctor ever wants to put me back on steroids because there's such now I'm at such a risk for all kinds of different complications because I was on so long. So if I know a lot of people when they get in a flare, they go on a course of a couple weeks of steroids to get them out of the flare. Well, I can't do that because I was on it so long. So it's just a huge mess.
yeah, like for example, I was on antibiotics. I set up antibiotics, um, because I had I need to go on them, and it wasn't Crohn's related. It was completely different, and that caused something, and then I had to go. And I got an infection by being on the antibiotics, and there was always going to be a risk, but it got rid of what was there. Like I had something down my back passage, which it was really interesting if it was Crohn's or not, but it kind of it wasn't. Um, um, but yeah, and then I developed the infection, and um, I recently thought something else happened through that. But yeah, it's kind of those things you want to avoid. No, I know it's not the same as steroids, but it's similar because you don't want to be on
Mm-hmm.
them, but you have to for a particular reason.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but I wasn't like, I suppose if you're in before you're even diagnosed, you're possibly on the steroids for the pain, maybe. Um, and I would say it does help with pain, like in my experience. Um, but yeah, like it's was was the reason because of what was the actual reason you had to be on those steroids, Ethan?
So yeah, I was on the steroids due to so the steroids were helping with the inflammation of my small intestine. It was so inflamed, and the steroids at the time were the only thing that was keeping the inflammation and subsequently the pain away. And that's normally what a biologic would do, but none of the biologics at the time were working, so I was stuck with steroids.
Okay. Um, and yeah, so just keep away them. No, never again.
Yep, never again.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna be interesting if something well, it's not gonna be interesting, but I suppose it's fearful for you if something like that happened again. Like you had an inflammation and like you can't go on any more like biologics because you've had them all. Unless there's more made, but they're always making new stuff, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Um, but like I think that's what you hope for them to make other biologics rather than going on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because no one likes that because they have so many effects, don't they? Um,
Mm-hmm.
like they have make your face bigger and stuff, like your appearance and that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
not it's not very friendly, are they?
Yeah, not really.
No, but but yeah. So fingers crossed, Ethan. No more steroids for you again.
Yes. Hopefully.
Hopefully, hopefully. Um, well, Ethan, it's been awesome speaking to you about like your Crohn's and like your channel like Pooks and everything. Um, what can I ask why? Because I know names for certain channels are very hard to create, aren't they? Like I think that's probably the hardest part, or how to create a podcast as well. Um, what made you choose the name Pooks?
So, Pooks was a childhood nickname given to me by my mother that just kind of stuck with me. I started using it for online names for different video games I would play and just kind of kept with it. And I don't know, it's fun, it's quirky. EOOKS. That's
Yeah,
me. That's just, I've used it now as my online name since, probably 2010. So just kind of stuck with it.
yeah, and in a way, like you could symbolize it to Crohn's in a way because you have like poo, and then you got poops. Like,
You can draw that connection. That's not where it came from,
yeah,
but that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
I know.
can draw that connection. Yep, yep.
Yeah. And do you want to like speak a little bit about like you said about you run a podcast with some other people? Do you want to speak a little bit about
I mean, I can over on my YouTube channel,
that?
Pooks221, Pooks221, over on the YouTubes. Every once in a while, I host my own podcast. It's not particularly Crohn's centered like this one is, but we talk about more technology, virtual reality, computers, stuff happening in the tech world. So
Yeah,
that's definitely my area of expertise. So
yeah.
that's what I talk about.
Well, I can see the tech world is your is your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like me, like mine. I I started it in 2020, kind of like for the pandemic. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just something to do, and like I use it on I I I don't just do it about Crohn's. I do it about autism. I do it about hobbies as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think hobbies plays a massive part. As we're both interested in stuff like VR. So I don't like focus it on VR, but I made like a VR game that you like to speak about. But yeah, I think it's really nice to do different topics as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Um, and the last thing, before we finish, Ethan, is there any advice that you'd like to give to anyone else listening about like Crohn's or anything?
Yeah, advice specifically about Crohn's is things might seem bad or like they're not going to ever get better. I know that's the way I was feeling about 2, 3 months ago, but just got to keep pushing through, have perseverance, because even though things seem bad right now, they will eventually get better. It's definitely going to take a while, but you know, things will eventually get better, and gonna be a slow process, but things will turn up eventually.
Yeah, I completely agree. And well, thanks, Ethan. It's been awesome speaking to you because
Oh, yes, it's been wonderful.
yeah, it's been a nice experience, a nice change of scenery. um, with your lovely lounge there. But thank you again, Ethan, and it's been awesome.
Yes, thank you for having me.